Yo, this is Real Talk E. Welcome to the locker room. We're talking nothing but basketball. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware. You guys have heard of the news. I mean, I've had like 2 or 3 videos posted about this already, and this is my 4th one speaking about this topic. And no, if you go through the channel, it's not about Zion Williamson and Mariah Mills. Okay, it's not about that no more. We're gone. We're past that. But it is about the Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul. And the question is, ladies and gentlemen, for the day, is it time for Christopher Emmanuel Paul to retire? Chris Paul has been in the game for as long as dinosaurs have been instinct for, but he's been here, bro. He's been playing at a very high level, and for a while we were debating, like, Chris Paul, is he done? Is he gonna keep going? And he, had amazing years with the Suns, and we're like, oh my God, he's playing at a very high level at a very old age, and how long will he be able to keep this up for? And obviously, Father Time is unbeatable. It's like literally 50,000-0, and it's the champion every single year. It forces people to retire every single year. Father Time is overall the undefeated game within the game. And Chris Paul seems like he's going through it right now. He seems like he is submitting himself to Father Time. Father Time is definitely coming in to swoop him off his feet. I think it's telling him, like, hey, CP, you got 2 decades in the game. I know your name is CP3, but you're not gonna get 3 decades in the game. Okay, like, it's not gonna happen. Wrap it up. You're not gonna play till you're 50. I know you want to keep going and try to win a championship by any means possible, but it's just not gonna work. Okay. The Father Time is telling him, hey, like, it's time to give up on your dreams of winning a championship. I know you're gonna be mad that Steph Curry won like 4 of them. I know you're gonna be mad that point guards that you looked up to in the past won rings. I know you're gonna be mad that you were supposed to play with Kobe Bryant in 2010, and you probably would have won a ring that year with them. But unfortunately, bro, it might be over for you. Okay, it's done. And do I think Chris Paul should retire? I genuinely don't know. But as we all know, Chris Paul, one, he started off playing really, really well. He was played on a couple of teams actually, but his really, really best years that everybody will remember is his years with the Clippers, the years with Blake Griffin, Lob City, and with JJ Redick and Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. And those were some years that we'll probably never forget. That was Chris Paul at his peak. That was Chris Paul at a very, very high point of his career. But then he was traded, and eventually he found his way to the Houston Rockets. Played along James Harden, and we were saying, like, Chris Paul, James Harden, they're together. Can they win a championship? Everybody was saying that they might be able to win a championship. I mean, he's playing with James Harden, and James Harden's been looking for somebody to run with him and stuff like that, and they gave him somebody in the backcourt, somebody to be by his side in the backcourt and really have a backcourt mate, and be able to count on another guard that's really talented and force teams to have to guard either CP3 or James Harden. Now, that didn't work out for a whole lot of reasons, but there were some rumors that they were getting into it in the locker room. Chris Paul, James Harden were yelling things at each other. They were throwing things at each other. They were not agreeing with the way that each other want to play basketball. James Harden want to play basketball one way, CP3 want to play it the other way. Overall, the team is just not winning. It's garbage, and the Houston Rockets just dragged it on for way too long, and it was about time to blow it up. So they decided to get Chris Paul away from the team, and they trade him for Russell Westbrook. Now, obviously, at the time, Westbrook was playing for the OKC Thunder, and the Rockets traded Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook.
What?
They give Chris Paul to the Thunder. They take Westbrook to the Houston Rockets to play along the side of James Harden. At this point, we're thinking, okay, Chris Paul is going to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's going to lay on his deathbed, and pretty much it's over for him. For me, it's like, wrap it up, it's done. You played a long time. Everybody was even debating, why is he even on the game still? Like, is that's it? Like, to make your goodbye year, your goodbye tour, and go from season, from team to team, from city to city, from whatever, and just say bye to everybody and play everybody. Try to have your best games on certain teams, on certain players that looked up to you, that are now in the league. Everybody was saying that, but Chris Paul had other plans. Chris Paul decided that he wants to actually compete. He wants to play ball. He wants to show the Houston Rockets that his way of basketball works. It's not just a, I'm gonna give you my word and it's not gonna work. And he did it at a very high level. He motivated this Oklahoma City Thunder team, very, very young team, to play hard. Something that they've kept with themselves till today. Reason why they were in the play-in this season. But Chris Paul helped them establish that. He helped them become winners. He helped develop SGA to, become a better player, and a better version of himself. And that's not something that I'm making up. That's something that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has came out and said himself. But, while the Oklahoma City Thunder thought they were tanking, they thought they were going to get a lottery pick, probably even a top pick. Chris Paul and the team of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the teammates, the players, they had other plans. They chose to go to the NBA playoffs. And they played hard that season, and then they showed up and they showed out. And when they made it to the playoffs, they, I believe, went against the Houston Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. And this series went to 7, if I'm not mistaken. And not only that, Chris Paul in the Game 7 had a triple-double and damn near almost took the Thunder past the Houston Rockets in the NBA playoffs. And do you know how crazy this would have been? It would have been insane. Now, while Chris Paul was doing this with the Thunder, while he was helping develop Shai and taking them to the playoffs and teaching them how to win playoff games and giving them a little bit of experience, even though they didn't get past the round. I believe it was the first round. I don't remember if it was first or second round, but I believe it was the first round, if I'm not mistaken. And I also think they were the 6th seed, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, it was like a long time ago, so please don't be here, oh my god, how many times is he saying if I'm not mistaken? It was like back in 2019, bro. Like, forgive me, please. While they were doing that in Oklahoma, the Phoenix Suns started winning. And they started to develop themselves and develop an identity and establish themselves as a great team in the West. Eventually, after the bubble, the Suns decide to make a move for Chris Paul. He decides to choose them as a destination of where he wants to go, because obviously when he took them to the playoffs, when he took the Thunder to the playoffs to be exact, the front office wasn't just going to throw him away. And they knew that they wanted to tank. So they were like, you know what, Chris Paul, we're not going to waste your time. Nor are we going to waste any more years from your career, because we know you want to win a championship. And for taking us to the playoffs and teaching our players how to win and helping us develop them, we're going to allow you to choose where you want to go. And he chose Phoenix. Maybe because it also made sense money-wise and stuff like that. But he ended up going to Phoenix. The first year with the Suns, 2021, they go to the NBA Finals. Everybody is in awe. Everybody is in shock. Everybody is flabbergasted. Everybody is puzzled. And we're all like, oh my God, Chris Paul still has things in the bag. He is still balling. He is still, playing at a very high level. He's defeating Father Time. And can he actually win a championship with the Phoenix Suns this year? Well, obviously we all know how the finals turned out, and he got injured a whole bunch of times, and it was over. The Suns lost the finals to the Bucks. Next season comes, and it's Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns again, and they have the best record in the West. And not only that, but they had the best record in franchise history. I believe that they had 64 wins and about 18 losses. Franchise record prior was 62-20. So already they're doing great. Now they go to the playoffs, and we expect them to win. Game 1 of the playoffs, they're facing the New Orleans Pelicans. Suns win. Game 2, well, Booker comes out. He has 30 points in the first half. The third quarter comes, and Devin Booker gets injured. He pulls his hamstring. He injures himself. And for that series on, the Nuggets struggle to get past the Pelicans until Chris Paul decides to have a game of a lifetime. He goes 14 for 14. And basically everybody's like in awe again. Everybody's like, oh my God, Chris Paul still has something in the tank. He's just had his best game offensively in his career, and he's been playing for like 20,000 years and things like that. So does he have more? Well, the Suns go up against the Dallas Mavericks next, and they win 2 at home. Now Devin Booker is back. They lose 2 in Dallas. They lose 1 in Dallas again in Game 6, but they also win 1 at home in Game 5. Now it's back home for Game 7, and we're expecting the Suns to show up. Whereas at home, the role players play better at home, and the star players should be showing up. It's Game 7. Well, all of them did bad. Chris Paul didn't show up, Devin Booker didn't show up, DeAndre Ayton didn't show up, and all the role players obviously didn't show up. I mean, Jay Crowder was playing the best out of all of them, and he is a role player. And he was playing like he had 15 points up on the board. He only had like little to nothing amount of points. But he was out there with the most amount of energy, hustling, playing hard for the ball. And on top of that, the team had 27 points in the first half. Luka Doncic alone had 27 points in the first half. He matched the Phoenix Suns as an entire team with 27 points. Now, why do I bring this up? Because the next year, which is this year, the 2022-2023 season, Chris Paul was in and out of the lineup all year long with injuries. He was out with his foot injury for a while. He was in and out of the lineup the whole year. We get to the playoffs, first round against the Clippers. While he's there, they perform, they do well, but they get lucky because Kawhi Leonard gets injured, plays Game 1, and then he has one of his Kawhi Leonard miracle injuries, and then after that, the Suns go 4-0 after that, and they win the series 5-1. Well, then they face this year's champions, the Denver Nuggets, and they are the only team to take 2 games off of the Denver Nuggets. And why did they do this? Well, first 2 games, they were playing very slow. Chris Paul gets injured. 2 games after that, games 3 and 4, the Suns come out and they play at a very high pace, and they win those 2 games, and eventually they lose the series, to the Denver Nuggets, obviously because they won a championship, and obviously in order for them to win a championship, they have to get past the Suns, so the Suns lost. Well, the reason why I say all this is to say that Chris Paul plays too slow. He cannot play at the speed of now NBA. He can't run with these guys no more. His game matches 8 years ago, 10 years ago. But now you can't just sit there and allow them to set their defense for you to have to now sit there and break it down and try to, dissect it, and then try to realize and then figure out how you're going to position your guys and when to pass the ball. No, you can't do that no more. I mean, you could, but now it has to be at a very high pace. You have to, as soon as you get the ball, push, run. Because you have to have your defenders on their heels. The way you control your offense is by controlling your offense, right? But the way that you control the other team's defense, which is possible, is by keeping them on their heels, making them have to scramble. How do you do that? You play with a very high pace and you move the ball around. He has one, which is move the ball around, but he needs to play at a very high pace. I don't think he could do that for 48 minutes. He's old. And the Suns are obviously thinking about trading him to other teams. Will this be the end of CP3? Will this be the last team he gets traded from, and then he's eventually going to just, spend his last year with the other team, have a goodbye tour, and just retire? I don't know. But if he is, I thank you for everything you've done. I thank you for teaching Booker how to win, teaching the Suns how to win. And it is what it is, my boy. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down below. Is it time for Chris Paul to retire? Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E, and it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety, my hearts.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection. This is for the win. Got it. Wow. At 7, working against Butler, got down.